Okay, yeah, this would be a lot better. Are you there?
Yeah, we got you, man. Loud and clear, dude.
Okay, this is a lot better. Let me get on the... I can... yeah, this is it, though. I'll just hold the phone up here. Hey, you there?
So how you doing, man?
So everybody that you call, like, I heard Ember going back and forth, and you're like, hello? I'm like, we have such a learning curve on everybody.
Yeah, fucking, I don't know, man. Technology, dude, you know?
I know. I have it all the time with everybody. The first 5 minutes of every interview is everybody trying to get on there. So, and then I still have my PA on from when I was rehearsing earlier. So let's go that off. Here we are. Hey, man, thanks so much for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. So tell us, man, what's been going on in the world of Tommy Stewart, man? What have you been doing?
Oh, it's been busy. It's always busy. I have a Google sheet with a task list a mile long. I'm sure it's a lot like that for you guys too.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
It never ends.
No, it doesn't. I'm not ever not at work, actually. I mean, I kind of cut it off sometimes and say, okay, I'm on the couch and with the cat and watching Andy Griffith reruns. No stuff for a little while. And it's like sometimes I just have to stop and come back to it. I go, so much stuff. But I'm up early in the morning starting on it. You know, like if you're dealing with anybody in Europe, I mean, you start talking to them at 7 and it's like you're lazy because it's already 1 there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people are always emailing me at like fucking 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, you know, with all kinds of stuff. And
well, I've said the other day to somebody, I said, I don't think I've slept since I was in my 20s. I'm sort of a catnapper, which is weird because if you're in a band or in music business of any kind, it's sort of a superpower because if you're fine with just catnapping, doing 3 and 4 hour slots of sleeping your whole life, you actually get a lot done.
Yeah.
So sometimes I wake up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and I might lay there 30 minutes and then I just go, I'm up. Let's go. I'm not going back to sleep. I'm just laying here staring at the wall like a zombie. Let's go. I got stuff to do. Let's make coffee.
Well, dude,
I've got socials. So
go ahead. You recently, you guys were recently at fucking Maryland Doomfest, man. How was that, man?
That was awesome. Laura and I go to that every year. And Zend and hang out, and it's so cool because you can see. Well, this year I believe there were 53 bands in 4 days.
That's insane. I don't know how.
Yeah, no, we're there for a week.
I don't know how he does it, man. That's so fucking crazy, dude.
It's a lot, and also the air wasn't necessarily very good. It was right in the middle of a heat wave, and I know like. On Saturday, it was, I walked out to the car one time and it said 100 degrees, and my phone said 100 degrees and stuff, and I was like, oh my God. And you're in there, those people are in there playing, we're crammed in there. It wasn't, you kind of got used to it, and it wasn't miserable. You just go in there and get hot, and that's just how you roll. But I'm from Atlanta. Like, you're in Tennessee, but these poor people that come down to play from Connecticut and Michigan and whatever, I feel sorry for them because they're not used to that kind of stuff.
Hell yeah.
They'll be up there. Oh, I just saw where a good friend of ours in Ohio that had a club up there in Akron posted one day, she says, oh my God, it's 85 and it just won't stop. I'm like, that's a nice day to me. 85 is what we dream.
Yeah, that's
when
we put on hoodies.
Yes. I was like, 85.
Turn on the heater.
We're pretty much kind of 95, give or take a little bit, pretty much every day. Today was all rainy and stuff, but we had, but anyway, yeah, Maryland Doomfest is, we've gone to it. This year was its 10th year, and I think it was our 4th or 5th year in a row of going to it. and representing Black Duma there and having the bands there. And I had like 4 or 5 bands there from Black Duma. I had, one, I was in the middle of negotiations with, and I finally got to see them live there, and we signed up the very next week. That's Black Moon Cult.
Fuck yeah!
And I can't wait. They were kind of an exception. I always want to see the artwork of an album and hear the album before I release it, or before I even sign the band. I want to know let's see what we got to work with here. Let's hear it. And in their case, they were just so good. I jumped on them. I sat there. I just turned around to everybody and said, you know what? Somebody's going to get them if I don't. This is going to be, and that's happened a bunch of times. And I go, if I don't sign those guys, I'm going to be sorry. I can just tell it. They're just so good. They're young. Each person in the band just is killer at their instrument, and their ideas about art and whatever. We talked a lot, and we negotiated and talked a lot about what it should be and everything for about a month. And you know how I am about art. I want the art of the albums to be incredible. Mm-hmm. So, Thunderbird Divine played. Also, Indus Valley Kings. And those are bands that I work with. Can't think if there was someone else. Maybe there were 3. I swear there was another one. There's a lot of bands at Maryland Duke Fest.
I totally know what you're talking about, dude. I recently went to me and Carl went to a fucking festival in Memphis to see a bunch of bands, and it was funny because afterwards I was looking at it and I was reading the lineup and everything, and I was like, dude, I fucking did PR for like 6 or 7 of these bands that were playing at the fucking thing, and I didn't even realize it really at the moment. Like I just thought it was at another show, you know, and it didn't dawn on me, and I was like, fuck, man.
And it's a cool thing to go to, because not only are all the bands there and you can interact and say hey to people and all, but you've got friends that come to this that you might only see at shows or know them online or whatever. And also, you're there and there's people there like me. There's people there from other bands who aren't even playing. They just want to be there. They like hanging out too. So I love going to festivals like that. And that's Metal Devastation Festival. It's like a family. You see a lot of the same people.
Yeah, man. And you know what? Dude, you're sponsoring this year again, man, for the 3rd time in a row. Fucking, we love you, man. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. We're
trying. It's a long day when you go, and then you're going to do the pre-party too. Yeah, we got to make sure to get on up there. We're not too far away, I guess, 4.5, 5 hour drive.
Yeah, the pre-fest party is definitely up there in ranking as far as like fun.
Yeah, I got it scheduled in.
It's
I got it scheduled in that we're gonna show up. We're gonna check in the hotel around 3. This is all a matter of getting our butts out the door by 9, 10 o'clock. It's not a bad day. Leave about 9 or 10 o'clock, check in the hotel about 3, part around a couple hours, and then go down there and hang out with everybody. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I know.
The next day, that's when we get up early and do everything.
Oh, yeah. And the next day is when the work happens. But, yeah, man, last year, you know, I don't think we really anticipated or realized how cool the pre-fest was going to be, so I don't think we actually pushed it that hard. So there was only like a few bands, you know, it was mostly crew and just there was a few bands that showed up there, but it was so fun, it was so cool. I've been trying to tell everybody that I've been talking to so far this year that's coming to the fest, you know, all the bands, you know, just trying to tell them, man, fucking, you know, like, you know, if you can make that happen, dude, it's definitely worth it, because that's just it's so much.
It'll become part of it, because I know other festivals have been around for a long time. They do over there at Maryland Doom Fest. They do a thing called the Doombacue.
Yeah.
So everybody gets together on Sunday before the day starts, and it's like 11 in the morning, and for about 3 or 4 hours, everybody gets together at someone's house, and we have a barbecue.
That's so awesome, dude.
Well, not everybody, because there's a lot of people there, but I guess about 50 people show up to it and hang out and have some barbecue and listen to some metal. And, and if we say doom metal and everything, it's really kind of an umbrella that just means all kinds of stuff. And everybody, because it's the name of the company is Black Doom Records for me, so everybody thinks it's all doom, doom, doom. And I go, yeah, I know, I kind of push it as doom, doom, doom. But really, it's just, it's if you look at how I define the company, I say it's doom and heavy music, or doom metal and heavy music, or heavy music with an emphasis on doom. So it's really kind of a generalization or everything. You're probably not going to go over there and find crust punk. Oh, wait a minute. I did have Grave Huffer. Never mind.
Yeah, I
took a chance.
It definitely is much more of a broader spectrum than I think a lot of people realize, and that's funny as you bring that up.
It's not just one thing.
When I talked to JB earlier this year, interviewed him about his band and everything, and like I was blown away by his band. By the way, like they're awesome.
Yeah, Bloodshot.
But I was like,
is that the one?
Yeah. Bloodshot.
Okay, yeah, he's got a couple.
But I was like, when I was listening to it, I'm like, this is not what I think of when I think of doom. Like this is more like hard rockin', it's just metal, like it's good fucking.
It can be, it's metal that's not technical death metal.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
If somebody came in playing technical death, I'd be saying, oh, you're not even into 13. If you broke doom down into, at one point, I sat around and like trying to scientifically figure it out. And I'm like going, as far as I can figure out, there's like 13 touch points for what doom metal styles there are. And I'm not saying there are. I'm just saying at some point I remember sitting down about 7 years ago and going, exactly what is doom metal? I'm trying to put a finger on it. Because there's funeral doom and there's this kind of doom and that kind of doom.
I was just about to ask you that.
It's like the Taco Bell of...
Yeah,
it's like the same ingredients, but they're mixed up in different variations.
Yeah. Like, what exactly does constitute as doom?
I tend to really like... some of my favorite doom is... I like the really blues riff-based type stuff. I really like that. But I also like... So on the label, what I really try to do is there are a couple of bands that are... what do? You define... See, I've always thought of it like this, that all metal, or even music, there's kind of two ways to do things. You can either be the definition of something and do a really good job of it, or you can be a band that tries to bring something new to the table to one extent or another. So, and there's band, I appreciate a band that's a solid, whatever they're called, band, that they are the definition of it. I appreciate that, and I like those bands. But also, in the label, I try to find bands that are they're bringing in didgeridoos and banjos and doing something weird. I kind of look for that. I want that.
Didgeridoos.
Well, yeah, I know about 3 bands on the label that use those. I'm one of them. But
I have one. I still haven't figured out how to fucking use it, man.
How does that? Yeah, okay, good. Then
I don't know.
I always have to get my drummer to blow the thing. I can't do it. It makes my lips like buzz and stuff. I can't even do it.
I've tried, man. I don't know, man. I gotta figure this shit out, man.
So the newest, one of the 2 newest bands that I'm working on right now that just had their single, they just, as a matter of fact, their first video debuted tonight on the Black Doom YouTube channel. You saw it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Fucking awesome, man.
Those guys are unbelievable. But they've got all kind of instrumentation on their album that's coming up. They used what the hillbilly water, what is that thing? The water, it puts you to mind of fairies when you hear it. It's like a thing with a bunch of metal spikes on it. You pour water in it and sling it around. And it makes this awesome noise. It's considered to be a percussion instrument. I forgot, with a water pipe or something like that. I don't know. They use that thing. They've got all kinds of stuff on there. But you could hear they brought in some female backup vocals in the song they debuted tonight, Last Laugh. There's a point in the video where they're all wearing choir robes, and it's just, they kind of ha. And this is a moment of like, the light comes down on everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I get chills when I watch that stuff. when I first saw the video, I was like, oh my God, this is one of the best videos I've had the privilege of putting on my YouTube channel.
It's really good.
I was so glad.
Really good.
I was so glad. Yeah, I like it. So their album comes out, is released August 30th, but their pre-sale actually starts in about 2 or 3 weeks. They've got one more single, one more video coming out, and then comes to pre-sale. But I know the album's on the way. As a matter of fact, I just got confirmation that the albums are on the way just a couple hours ago.
Well, man,
which means 6 weeks because they're coming from overseas. But they're coming.
Man, you know, as far as your label is concerned, the quality of the stuff that you put out is always so fucking cool, man. Like the packaging of it, the artwork, the vinyl, the records.
I so appreciate that.
You know, like
that means a lot.
I've got a bunch of it, man. Fucking, you know.
I really push for that.
Ember. I was talking to them earlier about that.
To me, that's a huge deal. I'm like, I don't want to put out crap. I want it to be really good. And to me, the overall presentation of an album, it's not, I know fundamentally, and I'm a musician too, fundamentally, yeah, sure, it's about the music. Well, you know, once you've got that down, then it's all pretty good and everything. To me, it's the whole presentation. It's the cover art. It's what's inside the album. It's what comes with the album. I try to make sure that the pre-sale time, the 2 or 3 or 4 weeks of pre-sale, there's extras in the albums that might not exist later. When those things run out, they're gone.
Yeah.
The posters, stickers, anything extra. I know Ember made it was kind of after the fact of our pre-sale, but Ember made a little art book that came with
I saw that.
The album Ember. Stuff like that, you know. I throw these ideas at bands. Sometimes I go, it's really just a matter if you've got the money to go make this stuff. But I would say, you know, depends on what the album is about and what the band is about. But I love seeing things like coloring books and stuff like that. I want to see, like, crazy stuff come with it.
I think it's worth it, man, because I think it brings the whole thing together, you know, and as
it defines your band better.
Yes.
Everybody knows what your band's about better the more things you put in it. The look of you on stage, how you present yourself, what your lyrics are about, the music, of course. And I think everybody, I'm not downing it, but I go, the music's kind of like 10% of it. It's important. You got to have the music, but it's not all of it. So you got to have the whole thing. You know, I think you can only describe it by actually seeing the thing in front of you. You know, and I'm in the middle of my new stuff coming out too for my band, and I decided to kind of emphasize the art side of it this time around. So I worked real hard on that for the past year. Still working on it because I got a part 2 coming out. I'm in the middle of making it. I don't even know how that's going to go. We'll see. It'll be kind of like the part 1.
Yep, my first album that I made, when I recorded it and got done with it, it just sort of just happened. Like I became friends with this local guy that was an artist, and he was doing all these paintings, and he was coming over, and we were smoking weed, and we're hanging out, and he was showing me all these paintings and stuff, and I'm like, dude, could you make me an album cover? And like, he'd never done it before, but he was like, yeah, you know, like, of course, I'd love to, you know. We talked back and forth about ideas, and I showed him the album and just gave him the general idea, and he went home and he worked on it, and he came back with this amazing painting, and I have it still here. It's right here in my studio.
Oh, great. You have the original painting. That's awesome.
Rest in peace, man. He passed away, but I look at that all the time, and I think about it, you know, and like that's such an important part of my journey. Like, I mean, I never got that pressed on record or CD or anything, you know, it's just on Bandcamp, but I've always thought, you know, someday I would like to at least put that on a record, if nothing else, just for myself to have, you know, just because I think it's cool just to pass it down to my kids or whatever, you know, but like it definitely, it's an important part of the whole thing, because I remember when I saw it and I was like, yeah, dude, like that really... it brings it all together, you know, and like that's like
what I was thinking in my head about the songs. This piece of art that you're showing me.
that's like
some of the covers I've found. I have some commissioned, but I've also found some of the covers I use are found. I mean, I just see it and go, oh, and the covers, like the guy did it like 8 years ago or whatever, and I go, yeah, but that's saying what I mean it to sound like.
Yeah.
So it kind of doesn't matter where it comes from. I've only used, of my own art, I think I've used 2 pieces of my art on album covers, but they weren't anything. Well, somebody liked one enough, he bought the album because of the art. He told me that at the merch table. Because of the art. He didn't even know who I was. He just liked the art. And I'm going to take it home and see what this sounds like. I'm buying it for the art. I was so bowled over.
Sometimes it doesn't matter. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter. Do you like, I remember...
Yeah, I've never had anybody, I've never thought of, I was like, I put that on the cover because it matched what the theme of the album was about.
Well, yeah.
But I normally would not have used my own art because my own art is just kind of average to me. It's like, it's just stuff I do.
Well, dude, back in the day, I mean, before internet and everything else, you know, like everything that we have now, like back in the old days when all you could do is go to a record store and just sift through records and look at different shit.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times it was the album cover art that drew it home, like, you know, that made you want to buy it. And I mean,
you know, the early hard rock that I liked a lot, I knew something of what it sounded like, so I got it. And I'm talking about 10 years after Deep Purple, stuff like that. I didn't particularly necessarily care about their album covers, but what dragged me into liking early English prog so much is they had album covers. But also, yeah, I've got to change that though. Some of the hard rock I did like was... Yes, I did. I love King Crimson. I like Yes, okay. It depended on the album, but they all had these fantastic album covers. Now, I've got to take that back as far as the hard rock goes. When it came to Uriah Heep, they had album covers.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
So, yeah, Demons and Wizards to me is a perfect album. That's a perfect album cover. Every song is perfect. It's just a great album. But these are, of course, like 50-year-old albums I'm talking about. I don't know if anybody even knows what they are hardly anymore, but I'm a fan of whatever year. I don't care which one came out. If I like it, I like it.
No, we know what you're talking about, dude. Yeah, Uriah Heep, that album. I remember I was a young kid in the 80s. I was in my bedroom blasting fucking Wasp. I had just gotten the Inside the Electric Circus cassette, and I was in my room blasting it. My mom heard it. And there's a song on there, they do a cover of Easy Living. And she heard that, and she started laughing. She came in my room, she's like, you know what? That's something that I used to listen to when I was a kid, when I was your age. And I was like, what? And so she started telling me about it. She's like, Uriah Heep, you got to check this out. So we went to
I know.
store.
Easy Living's not that easy to play either. Here's the part I always had a hard time with. Okay, so early Hallows Eve, the year before we started being Hallows Eve, changed a couple of members and changed the name to Hallows Eve, we actually played Easy Living fairly regularly one summer, and that riff that goes diddle. I always fucked that one up. It was so I ended up on the bass. I ended up going diddle. I went diddle. I just hit like 2 notes and whatever because it was this backwards fingering that at the time I just could not. And it's a lick that pretty much everybody does, you know. But at the time, and at that age, and in my playing experience at the time, that was hard for me. The rest of the song really goes though, and I loved playing it. But just when they got to the back part, it was like, oh shit, here it comes. Maybe nobody noticed.
Well, sometimes an album cover can just be a photograph or something, you know, like Black Sabbath, like that first record, or Led Zeppelin, you know, like.
There are some very clever photos. Oh, yeah.
You know,
I like the Led Zeppelin covers.
It's iconic. Pink Floyd.
We don't really have them anymore like we used to, the photo covers. I'm kind of wondering if we'll ever get back to that. I'd love to see some clever photo covers.
Yeah.
Doesn't always have to be a painting or a drawing on a...
Well, I'll tell you what. There's something that happened recently that was kind of funny. We were driving down some back road, out in the middle of the fucking nowhere, and we ended up on some, I don't know where the fuck we were. We went beyond the gates, and we were just out there in the woods, and all of a sudden we stumbled upon this fucking U-Haul truck that was, like, rotting in the fucking weeds, just sitting there, and we took a bunch of pictures of it, and I'm really thinking about putting that to use somehow, some way. You know, because I've always got the joke about, you know, fucking U-Haul, you know, if you don't see U-Haul trucks on my show, but like... I
know, I heard that earlier.
But yeah, like, that was a photograph right there, and I was like, yeah, that right there would stick, man. It's
right.
Cool. Sometimes you just see things like that.
So for my project is it's called, for Tommy Stewart's Direwolf, it's called Firewolf 1 and Firewolf 2. Firewolf 2 will come out next year.
The artwork on this record is amazing, dude. Who did that?
Oh man, so that was he calls it Droned Artworks. His name is Vaclav Traer, I think is how to pronounce it. I may be wrong, and apologies. But I've actually had him do a few things with me. But yeah, he did the cover. So what I'm doing is 2 EPs. So this album, it's the way I'm releasing it is as 2 4-song EPs. And then I have singles and videos for like 3 of the 4 songs. And so I'm releasing all this in a series. So each single has to have a cover too. So what I did is in March of 2022, I had this whole idea, this complicated idea of what if I released, you know, and so I contacted him and asked him, because he has the most unusual artwork, and he just puts it out left and right. I contacted him and said, I want to commission you for a series of covers. And I'm not sure what will be the album cover or whatever, but I just kind of scratched out an idea of the 2 Direwolf guys that are supposed to be me and my drummer. I kind of sketched it out and sent it to him and said, these 2 guys, something like this. And I sent it to him, and I said, I want a cover of them doing adventures or some, or even one figure that kind of looks, they all kind of have this same similar look. They're all doing something creepy. So that's what he did. So now I've got this whole collection of, covers to put out. What he really does a lot of is he creates games and game cards. And that's kind of where a lot of his art ideas come from, is him creating those game cards. But that's, if you look him up, you'll go, oh, I get it.
So did he do all of it, like the front cover and also that picture that's on the actual disc itself? Oh,
yes, the picture disc. So so I decided to do these covers as one song. So side A has the 4 songs. Side B is a UV print of a picture disc. And also that was the cover. That was the cover for the Melvin Laid an Egg, the first single I released, which I released in January, and there was a huge delay because I got caught up working with other bands, and I couldn't get back to my shit. And I was like, this is almost not even going to be a single for the album because so much time has gone by. And I keep working with other bands and then putting my own stuff. I put myself kind of last, and and also I experiment with how I'm going to release stuff. But before I go and try to do it with other bands, I see, will it work if I do it like this? Will it work if I do it? You know, and so I kind of just, I want to make sure it's right for the other bands, because I really love finding these bands and supporting them and working with them and getting them out there and trying to take them up to just, you know, I can't make them huge, but maybe I can take them to the next level for them, and they can kind of go from there. You know, that's really what I try to do.
Well, it definitely shows, man. And, you know, like that remaster that you did of Grave Next Door, As Heavy as Texas, man.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds so good.
I'm so glad you like that, because I didn't record the tracks for it. It was done I just took the tracks they already had. I didn't remix them, but what I call enhanced them, and then I remastered them, and it came out a lot better. So I can't wait for people to hear this the second Grave Next Door album. So I got to produce this one. They actually came down from Michigan to my studio and spent a week with me, and I recorded them in 5 days, all their tracking, and then, you know, this is kind of how I do people. Okay, bye-bye. Your record will be ready next Tuesday. I kind of run people off so I can mix it. I don't need everybody standing behind me telling me stuff.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. So I get people to track and I kick them out, kind of. And then I say, here's what I do. I'll send you MP3s of the proposed mix, and then you tell me, like, the two main things that you want changed, if anything. But I don't even think they had any changes. I think they really loved what it did, so I don't remember them saying change anything. But they really loved it, and I'm very proud of it. I think it's one of the best things I've ever produced. So what you heard on the first album for Grave Next Door, this band has toured and road tripped and played so much between the first album, the beginning of their stuff, to now that when you hear this album, it's going to be like, you're gonna know this band came a long way since the first album. It's, oh God, I can't wait, people. Well, come on.
I know.
Hurry up.
I know.
It's coming out in November.
I know when we saw them live at the first festival when they played, it sounded so much more alive than what was on their record, man. It was like a totally different.
Yeah, that's how I feel about
vibe. But I think
I could tell right off. You can tell they've got this spirit that's there. That just needs. They needed for a couple of people to come in and, like, give them support and help them out a little bit. But they were doing it. And I said, if they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to be really good at it in a year or two.
Yeah, but I mean, it's funny, like, how much of a difference just sometimes just a little bit of EQ tweaking or whatever you have to do.
Exactly.
And like that remastered version, man, like you hear, in my opinion, when I listen to that, that sounds like what they sounded like live. That sounds like what they sound like. Oh, cool, yeah. You know, like, when you're... Yeah,
I knew that song could sound a little bit better than the album. I knew it could. I took it. That was a killer cover, too. By the way, I really liked the cover. I had people send me messages telling me how it was, you know, politically incorrect or whatever because it had the Alamo in it or something. And I'm like, what? Why do you even think of that? I'm like,
I didn't even
where are y'all thinking of this stuff?
Oh,
we're offended because insert problem here. I'm like, oh, God, y'all get off of it.
People will find anything, man.
I'm offended at your offendedness.
Right?
Exactly. So we got Grave Next Door. So we have Tommy Stewart's Direwolves coming out over the summer. Thunderbird Divine's coming out over the summer. Their release date is August 30th. My release date is September 13th. It happens to be a Friday. That wasn't on purpose. It's just because that's how I had to schedule things. And then we've got Grave Next Door. They'll start having singles in September. It'll be released in November, I believe 15th. And about right on their heels, right now we're working on Megaton Communion from Ohio.
Hell yeah.
And so that'll come out by the end of 2024 too. I'm trying to get them done before December, because once December comes in, I kind of just don't release anything in December because everybody gets busy with holiday stuff. It's just stuff. So I always kind of skip December as far as releases go. Although Ember's last album did release on December 7th. It almost ended up being a 2002. It almost ended up being a 2024 album, but I kind of tried to hustle to get it done before the last 3 weeks of December. Half of music disappears. It just everybody's got holidays. They got, and not that you're celebrating it, but you got to go see your families and junk like that. It's just not what's on everybody's mind right now.
Well, it's also the media too. You know, like, you know, everybody in the magazines and the websites and stuff that are making all those lists of, you know, their year-end lists and stuff. Like, they're already doing that.
Which I enjoy, but everybody starts kind of focusing on that. I enjoy those. I like them.
They're done. They're usually done with that shit by the fucking, you know, end of October, November. You know, like they're.
Oh, yeah. So I don't usually release anything from December 7th on. Just practically refuse to. And the first week of January, I always skip that too. Second week, if I didn't get you out by November 21st or something, I'm probably going to be holding you back till second week of January.
Well, Tommy,
wait till people are paying attention.
Well, Tommy, for people coming into to the fest this year, man, what can you tell them? What kind of stuff are you going to have at your table this year, man?
We're going to have dancing girls and all kinds. No, we're going to be selling beer. No, we're not. Okay, we are going to have some new stuff. I'm very happy about that. So these albums I'm talking about, so I will have those new albums that are out by then. I will have them with me. I'll also have some shirts. I'll have Grave Next Door shirts. I'll have Direwolf shirts. I'll have Black Doomba shirts. I hope to have a couple of newer shirts too. I'm about to work on those. And I'm gonna have all the bands from the label there. I'll have stuff from Cult of Sorrow, Dayglow Morning. I'll have some copies of Ember there, but I'll try to, if I'm on this side of the field and you happen to see them, I'll have them. But really, go buy them from Ember. They're the band touring, and they go support them. I'll have a couple. I'll have Gravehuffer there. I'll have both the albums there. I'll have CDs, records. Who else will I have there? I'll have all of there. I'll have Grave Next Door. No, wait. Will I have Grave Next Door? I don't know. I haven't heard the Q date yet. I will have the first album though. And as far as Gravehuffer goes, I might have like 3 copies of Necro-Eclosion there, the first edition. But that's it. They're almost sold out. So if you want that, make a point of coming over there and getting it, because there's literally like 3 left.
Oh yeah.
So who else have I got? I don't know. I'll have some of my stuff there besides Tommy Stewart's Direwolf. I always bring some Hallows Eve stuff. In fact, I'm working on a deal right now where I may have Hallows Eve t-shirts there that are based on our first tour shirt from 1985, and on the back it says Tour of Terror 1985 on it. So anybody who's interested in Hallows Eve stuff, I always try to have some copies of the vinyl there. I know I'll have CDs. I'm looking right at them right now. And I'm hoping to have some shirts there. Oh, I also got some patches. I've got some Tales of Terror patches. If anybody knows what Hallows Eve is from the thrash Metal Blade days,
hell yeah,
I'll have that stuff there. I'm working on it. I'm making sure that at the Metal Devastation Festival is that is the perfect place to have some Hallows Eve stuff around. I think I sold out of all my Hallows Eve stuff last year. I remember people bought that stuff. I can pretty much count on it.
That's awesome, man.
But, because it's classic. Negative Wall, League of Corruption. I don't know if you guys have not heard of League of Corruption, you should.
Oh,
They've got their second album coming out.
We've had them on the show before, I believe.
Oh, they're awesome, man. Yeah, I did do their first album, and it was 2019, and their second album, I believe, might have just come out recently. So, it was not on my label, but there was some shipping kerfuffle on the first album, problems with the Canadian border and stuff, so we decided not to do it.
I think that was one of the bands that I first found out about you about, right around the same time that Gravehuffer went with you guys, man.
Yeah, the connection, I think, was
you had a compilation too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My compilation was on the label. Demonomicon was the name of it. Yeah, we had that was the 13 Styles. The idea of the album was a little subtle, and I think people kind of didn't get it. Eventually, sold out of it. I may have 1 copy, but I made 300 copies, and it took probably all of these 7 years to sell it. But it was a double album set, 3-color. It was a fantastic set. It was a labor of love, but it had 13 bands on it, and the idea was there were 13 different styles of doom metal was the idea, different elements, and I think people kind of didn't get it, So it's a good compilation. Doomstress is on there. They're the second song on the whole thing. Order of the Owls on there. Do you know who they are?
We've had Doomstress on the show before too, man. I
really like them. I've always loved them. And We had Order of the Owl on there. Grave Huffer was on there. We had some good one. Oh, Gallow God was on there. And that band was existed in 2013. Made these tremendous doom albums. I think like 2 of them. I got in touch with them and I bought all their CDs and had them in Black Doom. They were like the second or third thing I had, but there was no band. They broke up years ago. But I said, man, I just love your band. So I bought their whole back catalog. He said, you got CDs? And he said, yeah, I got a whole bunch of them under my bed. I bought them all. And they shipped them over. The next thing I know, I had a distribution deal with Plastic Head. And I hardly sold any of them around because people kind of didn't know who they were. But when I got the distribution deal with Plastic Head, they had like 14 or 15 brick and mortar stores in England. And all of a sudden, I had Gallow God, and all of a sudden, Gallow God sold out completely, but through distribution and in the England stores. All of a sudden, I sold all of it. It was awesome. They knew who they were over there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Tommy.
Yeah, you can see how excited I got about that. I'm passionate about this music. I just love it. I love music. I love being in the music business. This marks... I know I said this to you before when we were palling around for a minute, but 2024 marks for me that 50 years since the first time I ever walked on stage and played a bass in front of people. 50 years, 1974 till now. And now anybody out there's probably saying, how old is this guy? Older than dirt. I don't even answer the questions online. You'll see people, what was your first rock concert? Stuff like that. I'm like, I don't even answer because mine are like really, it's the early 60s. It's Jerry Lee Lewis and, the Grassroots and stuff.
That's legendary
it's not
right
even,
there, man. Yeah.
My first hard rock concert, though, was Deep Purple on the Machine Head tour in 1973. And, that was the first real hard rock show I saw. So I kind of use that as my marker of that's when it really began for me. May of 1973. I remember.
Feel you, but dude, Jerry Lee Lewis, man, that's pretty fucking cool, right?
I've seen that.
Not everybody can say that.
No, I've seen Little Richard. Seen Elvis twice.
Damn.
I've seen. Now, this is my parents dragging me to stuff. I saw Paul Revere and the Raiders playing on a flatbed truck outside the Beatles movie. The Beatles movie was premiering in Atlanta. My mom took me to it. And outside the parking lot on a flatbed truck was playing Paul Revere and the Raiders. Does anybody even know who that is? I do. Barely. That's who. I was 7. So for everybody, I'm not a vampire. I was 7. And the big story I tell, this is exactly where it started for me. So we walked out of the Beatles movie, Help. It's 1966, and my mom said, this was a family story at our house. My mom, just casually, as we walked to the door, walking out the door, she said, oh, okay. Tommy, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the story is, I turned around and pointed right back at the Beatles poster and told my mom, that looked like a good job.
Hell yeah.
So it started there.
And
then, oh God. And then, then later it was like, I think it was like 71, 72 when I started hearing the Sabbath and the Deep Purple and the, that kind of heavy riff rock stuff. So, and then from there, I was like everybody. I just metamorphosized from one thing to the other. And went, I like that. I like that. Yeah, new wave of British metal. I like that. I like that. I like that. And here we are. And I'm going to go see Sun Mantra, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah. Leo,
Sun Mantra.
Leo from the Sun Mantra was just in the chat room a minute ago, man. Fucking
was he?
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I love that guy. Yeah, so they're playing at Metal Devastation, and is the line? When you're showing the lineup on there, is that about the order? Or is it going to change a little bit?
No, that's not the exact order. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be, but she's
all right.
She's going to release.
I've been wondering.
Soon.
Okay, I've been wondering because I was seeing it, and it was kind of seeing the same list in the same direction, and I was like, is that going to be the order? So let me give you an idea. So Ember, Sun Mantra, and I don't know the guys. Oh God, who's the gothy one that's listed? I just looked at him. Female singer, kind of gothy. It's a cinch. I want to say it starts with an A. That looked interesting. Anyway, gosh, I don't have to listen. So many good bands. I'm going to be looking every one of these up. By the time I get there, I've made a Spotify playlist. I probably know like 3 to 5 songs of every band I'm about to come see.
Yeah,
if not more.
I made a Spotify playlist of all the bands that are going to be there. And
Did you?
I posted. I'll send you the link to it, man.
Okay, cool.
Everybody's on there except for Kill Crown and Soma Irot because they're not on Spotify. But everybody else on the list is on there.
Yeah, I'll look every one of them up and read about them and everything. It's kind of like before you go see a movie, you watch the trailer, see who's in it. I like movies, to be familiar.
Speaking of movies, dude, like this thing is being turned into a movie, like a literal movie, man.
I know. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man.
It's about time. Document. I've been saying that the whole time because I think that's a thing that bands should be reminded of, and things like what you're doing is that if you document the crap out of all this stuff through films, videos, and just document, because 10, 20 years later, this is all going to be part of, your festival is going to be part of metal history. There's no doubt. So, you want to look back and see there's a documentary about it. There's tons of interviews. I love that you're doing all these interviews with all the bands. I don't know. There could be all kinds of stuff done with it later, but I'm sure we're going to all want to look back.
Yeah, it's going to be cool, man. Hopefully we can get a live record made this year, too, of the whole show. I'm hoping. We tried to do it last year, but we messed something up, but hopefully we can get it.
A lot of times it's technicalities. And it's hard to record a band live and sound decent. I mean, Good is one thing, but even sounding decent's hard. Actually recording live, people come in the studio all the time and say, well, we want a live sound. I go, no, you don't. Live sounds suck.
Yeah,
I ignore them. You really don't want to sound live. But to get a good live recording is exciting.
It will be rough because, I mean, it's going to be a stereo dump of the fucking whole mix that's coming out of the fucking...
That's fine, yeah.
Not, but...
a little roughness is how it's supposed to sound if you're live. It should sound a little rough. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't want it to be, to sound like the studio. I want it to sound live, but I don't want it to sound crappy. I just want it to sound like it's a good live. There's some great live shit that probably, I don't know, some people might think it sounds like crap, but I think it's great. Because it captures the essence and the spirit of the being there.
Hell yeah. Well, Tommy...
How are you going to record it?
Huh?
Are you going to have your usual sound person record it?
No, there's something on the actual mixer where you can just pretty much insert a fucking USB card and it'll dump the whole stereo mix down onto that, and then I'll have to take that and break it up on some software that I have. I do have some shit that'll kind of break it down into stems like a little bit, so where I can mix it, and try to make it. I don't know. I'll fuck with it.
I think you'll do fine.
But
so, what about this Ember single coming out?
Yeah, you heard that.
Yeah, I'll listen to the whole thing. Those are my people, man.
I told him you might be listening.
I love the guys in Ember. I love them. Crystal's the sweetest person. When you hear her sing and you watch her perform,
I can't wait.
And then you meet her 15 minutes after the show, you'll go, this is the same person?
She's got an amazing voice,
She's
man.
Such a nice person. Oh, I know. Each person in Ember is extremely talented at what they do, but she is certainly a standout on the vocal. That's the first thing I think everybody latches hold of is, like in Omega, their song Omega. It's the minute she comes in, and she throws her voice up into the sky,
into the stratosphere,
off a mountaintop, and it just blows you away in 10 seconds. You go, oh my God, she can sing, really sing. Like, I mean, yeah, the reviews I saw were all really good, and I don't see how they couldn't be. If they're not, they're just, I don't know. It's one of those bands that's like, if you don't like them, you're just wrong. I know it's subjective, but sometimes it's just in your face. This is really good.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see how it could be argued with. They're like that to me. I think they're perfect. You know, I actually tried to get them for about 2 years.
I know you told me.
Yeah. A lot of times bands come to Black Duma and they pitch me probably about 5 to sometimes as many as 10 a week. So I haven't had any problem like finding bands, but I don't really have to find bands because I only do a few a year. I want to do a really good job. I want to really focus on them and give the band 100%, focus. So I don't really take many. But in their case, I actually came to them a couple years earlier, and they were with somebody then. I said, look, when y'all get done with that, not that you're going to, but when you never know, something might happen to the company, something happens, I don't know, down the line, call me. You're already in if you want to be. I want you. And we'll talk about negotiating and all that if there's anything about that, but we'll figure it out. Just call it to me. So, and they did a couple of years later. They called me up. I went, thank God, because I really wanted to put that out.
Hell yeah.
Thank somebody, anyway. It's a figure of speech.
Well, Tommy, I cannot wait to see them live on the stage, and I can't wait to hang out with you again, man. Is there anything else you want to let the people know?
No, just come to this thing. I just saw the price. It's not even that expensive to be there.
No.
There's food. There's pretty good food all day.
Yeah, it's like...
So, you got food trucks, and you got all kinds of vendors. You got... Who's that? The Oddity people. That was awesome.
Dude, we got all kinds. There's 40 fucking vendors coming, man. There's all kinds of food, tacos, fucking barbecue, everything.
I would come to that if nobody was playing, because it's just the 40 vendors.
Bring your own beer, just bring
that would be a festival.
And hang out and drink and have
a good time. I mean, there's the bands. There's 13 bands. It's all day. It's a great atmosphere. There's ways to park. If the bathroom was never crowded or anything, a little bit of a crowd getting something to eat sometimes because everybody loves that stuff.
All food ages too. Bring the kids, man.
All ages. Yeah, it should be there. What's the price right now if somebody tries to buy a ticket?
I think it's like $32, I think.
Yeah, that's what I saw. It was 32 or was there some cents? I don't know, but I was like $32. Why would you not be at this? Just go over there. If you can drive an hour, you can drive another hour. Come on.
It's going to be awesome, man. I cannot wait, man.
One exit down, there's a Love's truck stop. It's always a draw for me. So I see a lot of Love's truck stops in my travels. I don't know why I'm blurting all that out. Well, it's weird because I've been to that one several times, and not even for the just going back and forth on tour, but the lot from Nashville to Memphis and back and forth. You got, I think, 2 Loves that you can stop at. For some reason, I keep hitting those.
Well, Tommy.
Anyway, good times, man. We'll see you there.
Tommy, let's blast some fucking tunes from your new record, man. But before I let you go, can I get you to make us another station tag if you want?
Oh, my God. This is Tommy Stewart from Black Duma Records and Tommy Stewart's Direwolf. And you're listening to Metal Devastation now.
Hell yeah. Right now. All right, man. We're gonna blast some fucking brand new Tommy Stewart for these motherfuckers so they go crazy, man. Tommy, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us. I really appreciate it, and I cannot wait to see you very soon, man.
You will.
All right, man.
Can't wait.
We'll talk to you later, brother.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. There you have it, folks. Tommy Stewart live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation fucking radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers in your windows. Put them in your front lawns. Put them in your neighbor's driveway. Put them in your neighbor's house if you can. Fuck them. Do whatever you got to do, man. If you don't see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, what the fuck are you doing, man?